Let's welcome Kelly.
Just for the humane of it. Hi, I'm Kelly Fallucca, animal activist and fellow educator. I'm here to convince you and persuade you to please vote yes. Vote yes on humane education programs in the school. Madam Toastmaster, fellow educators and board members, thank you so much for being here today. Humane education is so critical in the lives of our children because it urges us to teach development of empathy and compassion. Why is empathy so important? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, both human and animal. Sadly, empathy is the one thing that's missing from most abusers and criminals. We used to talk about animal violence in a silo like it was its own problem. However, in today's research, which I'll be presenting today, there's a direct link between animal abuse and human violence. It's actually terrifying how many young abusers go into abusing adults, children, or elderly as they grow into adolescents and adults. Fact. 44% of children will abuse an animal in their lifetime. Let's sit with that for a second. 44% of children are likely to abuse an animal in their lifetime. In our short time together, this topic delves deep. However, I'd like to briefly touch on some additional facts linking the animal cruelty to human abuse. We'll talk about what we can do as educators to have an impact and make a difference. And also the possible outcomes of not adopting the program. Facts. 43% of school shooters in the United States between 1988 and 2012 had a history of animal abuse. They had already been written for animal abuse and they turned into school shooters. Fact. A scarier fact, the U.S. has already had 200 mass shootings just in the year 2022. We're not even done with this year, and we've had 200 mass shootings. Fact. 50% of children reported that their abuser threatened to kill or harm their own family pet in order to control them. As educators, I'm sure you can imagine the myriad of issues that come with this, including eating disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, and growing up as violent adolescents and adults. Fact, between 62 and 76% of children have witnessed an animal being abused in their own home, in their own bedrooms, in their own living rooms. 62 to 76% witness this violence in their own homes. What can we do to make a difference? The answer? Education. If we teach kindness, children will emulate kindness. If we emulate cruelty, children will emulate cruelty. The world becomes what we teach. Education also builds character. It gets our hands involved in molding that empathy. We can teach them that animals do have feelings just like human beings, and there are consequences for the abuse. Education reduces violence. How do we stop violence? We talk about it, we prevent it, but the amazing thing with classroom education is as educators, we can often detect it and sometimes intervene because we can see it happening within our classroom. The outcomes of not adopting a humane program in your school. Sadly, cruelty is a global problem. 100 million animals suffer abuse every single year. That's 100 million every 12 months, and then it resets, and another 100 million. And it will continue and continue unless we bring education into our schools. Another horrifying statistic is globally every minute an animal is abused. This is globally, this is on farms, this is domesticated, this is farm animals. Every single minute an animal is being abused. what's that going to mean for our society? Sadly, it's going to mean more crime, more violence, more trauma, and more abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to cut to a video testimonial, so please bear with me as I share my screen. My rescue kitty babes would like to say a few words.
I'm Babes, the rescue kitty. 7 years ago, uneducated humans abandoned me in the mountains of California. They took care of me for a couple of years and then left me with no food, no water, and no shelter. Obviously, I had a happy ending because my forever mom, Kay, found me. However, there are millions of animals every year who don't get help. Would you like to see less violence towards animals and humans? If yes, please vote yes for human education programs in the school. Every vote counts. Your vote counts. Thank you.
Thank you, babes. We appreciate that testimonial. I'd also like to thank the Animal Legal Defense Fund. 40 years ago, one lawyer, through education and through the law system, wanted to create a nonprofit, and so she did. Miss Tracy now has 73 employees and 33 attorneys, that fight for animal rights and abused animals. I will link this document in the chat, for most of the statistics I used today are in this document. This brings us to a vote, folks. How many of you really want to do what it takes to get less violence, less crime, and less trauma in our schools? Raise your hand and vote yes. Raise your hand or use that Zoom vote and please vote yes. Please vote yes, just for the humane of it.